guys, it's Jessii Vee, and in today's video we're going to be talking about a very scary haunting that happened to a family back in the 1950s. This story is absolutely horrifying, and what's so interesting is that it starts with a young teenage girl finding a key that doesn't fit any of the doors in her house. It kind of reminded me of Coraline, if Coraline became super like paranormal with a poltergeist. But I was just so intrigued by this that I had to research the story, and of course I had to make a video on it. But before I get started, just another reminder that we have restocked our mystery galaxy ball necklaces. This is basically a pendant that has an orb on it, and inside there is a galaxy, which I think is so cool, and they come in like 20 different styles. So when you get yours, you find out what your galaxy looks like. They're so beautiful, and if you guys would like one, I have linked it down below for you. So let's get right into this very creepy story. As I said, it all started with a key. It all began when a teenage girl named Shirley Hitchings awoke one day in 1956 in the bedroom of her family home at 63 Wycliffe Road. She found an ornate silver key on her pillow, which was obviously extremely odd. What was more troubling was the fact that it did not fit any of the doors in her house, and as mysteriously as the key appeared, it soon disappeared again. But this was only the beginning of the Battersea Poltergeist legend. This is a tale of ghostly phenomena that bothered this family for 12 years straight. So it all started with loud noises and strange activity. Finding a key that doesn't unlock any doors is certainly odd, but the Hitchings family said the real terror began that night. After they had gone to bed, the family awoke to a strange loud banging noise. They said it was the same noise level of a bomb, which is insane. That would be so loud. And they said the sound was coming from the roots of the house. In fact, the ruckus was so loud that neighbors began complaining because they thought Shirley's father was experiencing some kind of episode and banging around the house in the middle of the night. And inside of the house, the family also claimed they were hearing scratching noises. And animal activity would typically explain scratching you would hear in your house, but the family said these noises were even coming from within their furniture, which is so creepy. Like every part of the house had this scratching happening. So after weeks of this poor family hearing the banging noises, the scratching, they were literally sleep deprived. Things just kept getting worse and worse. They were experiencing objects flying through the air for no reason at all. Pots and pans would hover in the air and slam into walls, causing the Hitchings family to duck out of the way. Shirley's glove slapped her father in the face as if worn by an invisible hand. Slippers even began walking across the room with no one inside of them. And then we have the next thing that happened, which is the attack. Allegedly, the Hitchings entered Shirley's bedroom one night only to find her levitating above her bed. She was floating in the air, her back was arched, the sheets were ripped off her body. I mean, it looked terrifying to see. According to the family, they began playing tug of war with this ghost. They were trying to pull their daughter out from the air, but the ghost was pulling back. And because of the violent nature of these attacks, the family nicknamed this ghost after a famous cartoon character that we all know. They named this ghost Donald after Donald Duck because Donald Duck is known for having a really crazy temper. And because this case was starting to become so insane, local newspapers started to write about it, and this family started to become famous for what was happening to them, and they were being visited by ghost hunters and psychics. And then what's so creepy is that this ghost began leaving notes for this family. So before they found their first note, they discovered that in the night, this ghost named Donald would put dolls in a circle around the room, which is so weird. And he began leaving them hundreds of notes. The first one they found said, "Surely I come." And there's actually like a picture of this note the ghost wrote. And like I said, the teenage daughter was named Shirley. So the ghost was speaking to her, "Surely I come." The spirit claimed he was French royalty and not just any member of the royal family. Donald claimed to be Louis Charles, the son of Louis XVI and Marie Antoinette. He was heir to the throne during the French Revolution, but the young boy died before he can rule. But why would this French spirit write notes in English, you may ask? Apparently some notes were in French and some were in English. It always just sort of depended on what they found. Sayings like "Viva France" would be written on their walls, journals sometimes, and some of the notes that Donald would leave would have facts about his family that no one else would know. For example, he wrote the name of one of Louis Charles' bodyguards, which was like inside information that no one should know. So it made people believe that maybe this ghost really was who he said he was. After a few months of this, things kept getting worse and worse, and he started making demands of Shirley. For example, he said that if she didn't wear her hair a certain way, he would start throwing out fires in the house. And so he did. One night her dad got burned putting out a fire, and underneath the burn were gouge marks, like her father had been clawed by something. Donald even tried to push her grandmother down the stairs in October of 1956, and Donald also had this strange obsession with an actor named Jeremy Spencer, threatening to harm him if Shirley didn't meet with him. And what's so weird is that he soon after suffered a non-fatal accident after the spirit issued this threat, which is so crazy. So Shirley was just not able to escape this ghost no matter where she went in life, what she was doing. It started leaving the house with her. Shirley had taken a job at a department store as a seamstress, and one day scissors suddenly disappeared from one of her co-workers, and her co-workers were convinced that Shirley was responsible. They were calling her the poltergeist girl, and they eventually fired her, which is so sad. At one point, this poltergeist allegedly followed Shirley to an appearance on BBC News, where those in the studio reported hearing his tapping noises. So Shirley was just so exhausted by Donald's appearance everywhere she was. This is a quote from her. She said, "It ruined my life. It took my teenage years. I was 21 before I could get anything near normality, and even then he interfered in my life. One boyfriend came to the house and was trying to goad Donald by saying things like, 'Come on, Donald, do your worst,' but he fled after a bowl was tipped onto his head." So that's awful. In 1964, the Hitchings family had finally had enough and moved a short distance away, but unfortunately, as you can imagine, Donald moved with them. The house at 63 Wycliffe Road was demolished in the late 1960s, and no other house was built on the site. And even after Shirley moved out on her own and was married with a child, she claimed Donald persisted until 1968. He would still leave her messages, just talking about really random things, like what her parents were doing, different like facts that really weren't scary, they were just random. And then one day he left his very last note for her saying that he was finally leaving, and he did, and he never bothered her or her family again. What's interesting is that Shirley's mother felt heartbroken by his departure because this spirit almost became like a part of their family. As weird as that sounds, like this mother felt like this Donald spirit was like her son, and she was sad when he left, but Shirley was very relieved. So I was just so intrigued by this story. I always am intrigued by hauntings from history, and obviously there are people who think this was all a hoax and the family was just making it up to be in the news or to be famous, but I did go and watch interviews of Shirley when she was young up to when she was old, and she did seem really sincere and even scared. So who knows? Take it for what you will. Comment down below if you believe this story or not. And if you want me to continue doing stories about hauntings from history, give this video a thumbs up and let me know. And if you would like a mystery galaxy ball necklace, I've linked them down below. But I hope you have an awesome rest of your day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye! Hey guys, I am currently doing weekly auctions on the Jessii Vee website, and this is the item for this week. You've seen me talk about it in a video, you've seen me unbox it and test it out on my vlog channel, and what's so amazing is that all proceeds go towards our YANA program. We really need funding to support our schools who have implemented this program, and what better way than to donate and also get this really cool item that I've been talking about in videos. The auction lasts for 9 days, and you'll be able to see a countdown on our website, and the winning bidder will be notified. So good luck, and thank you once again for supporting everything I do and for supporting our YANA program.